Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King, and today I'm going to be giving you part 2 of What If Naruto Was a Prodigy with an unknown bloodline. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends on social media platform, and also guys, stay tuned for the rest of what ifs coming your way over Anime King 2 and Anime King 3. If you're new, yes, you heard that correctly. I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3. Which I post what if every single day for you guys to enjoy. So stay tuned for those and I hope you guys enjoy. So with this, we begin this new episode. Start the intro. So the last time we left off, Konoha was being attacked by the great nine-tailed demon, as it was nothing but chaos. The fourth Hokage of the village, Minato Namikaze, sacrificed his life in order to seal the demon's self a newborn baby, as he fell. With that, the village was struck with a peril. What to do with the baby? As it was a council meeting, they came up with the option of placing him with a family. Hiruzen was the one to take him in. So like that, 4 years passed, as Naruto became the adoptive son of Hiruzen. The 4-year-old Naruto was a rather anomaly. He was able to unlock his chakra at 3 years old. He was able to do the ninja passing tests at 4 years old, the substitution, the clone jutsu, and the transformation jutsu. Hiruzen believed that it was time for him to get in his real training, if he was going to be as strong as he was going to be. So with that, Hiruzen teach him Shadow Clone Jutsu, as he thought that it might take Naruto a while, but to his surprise, it just took him 3 hours. Hiruzen brought Naruto to his personal library. 2 years he had to study all that he could, and Naruto blossomed. It took 2 years as Naruto became a prodigy. Well, he was. But his capability was shown as he studied and learned everything that he could. As Naruto was a master of almost all arts. He didn't have the experience or could perform them at high real level yet, but he does. Has a volley of knowledge that he could use that will help him immensely. Given that reason, he couldn't just go to the normal academy. He would be bored there. So Hiruzen signed him up to be an academy teacher, as he was gonna help Iruka as his assistant. As Naruto woke up that morning, and he completely forgot. Luckily he remembered before it was too late as he rushed to the academy, where he met a lovely lady that called Iruka for him. Iruka told him if he could quiet down the class, then he would forget this late interruption. As Naruto clapped his hand, Hiba dropped down to the ground in pain. As Naruto did a jutsu called Thunderclap, and Kiba ears were rather sensitive. As Naruto healed the boy, and he started to get her attention. Afterwards, they had lunch. Sasuke did something, well, rather arrogant, as the girls were getting on his nerve, trying to feed him their food. So he fired a fireball at them, not to really hurt them but just scare them off. As Iruka was talking to him, his Uchiha pride was getting in the way. So Naruto did something that he saw. As he had saw Kakashi and Guy, 2 ninjas of the village fighting, and the one this silver here had poked the other one in the ass, with some kind of technique called 1,000 Years of Death. So he did turn Sasuke. That's sure that quieted him down and everyone else, as they were afraid of the thunderclap, and the ass jam. So yeah guys, so basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the place for yourself. So this will begin this new episode. Waking up on the first day of a new semester, Naruto thought back to all that he accomplished in the past 2 years. They passed by quickly without much difficulty, but that still means that he still had another 4 years before becoming a chunin. But that wasn't bad, He get to learn as much as he could, without going out on any dangerous missions. Well, yet. In the past 2 years, Naruto became to be known as a great teacher Naruto for all of his accomplishments at the school. In order to get on Aruka's good side, Naruto began to participate in the lectures more, making sure that every student understood before moving on to a different topic. And he corrected students who were not paying attention. After a few weeks of corrections, most of the students got the idea to talk outside the class. After the first years, it was suggested that Naruto hold a session outside the class for those who wanted higher learning material, such as theories on the art of Fuinjutsu. Also, many students became familiar with him. Kiba was the first one. It went on to include people like Shino, Choji, Shikamaru, and Hinata. As Naruto's encounter with Shikamaru had proved to be quite interesting. Flashback. "You," said Shikamaru. As Naruto was leaning up against a tree, Shikamaru stood there, as he had a shogi board in his hand. As Naruto looked up, "Yo," he said. Troublesome. "You wanna play?" Shikamaru asked, as he sat down and placed the board on the ground. As he started to set up the pieces, with nothing else to do, Naruto helped to set them up, and soon they were in a heated duel. They ignored the bell that ended lunch, and the bell that ended school. They were so enwrapped in the game. As children started to gather around them, seeing them under the tree, playing shogi. As the game just looked quite intense, even teachers came out to watch the game play out. 9 hours later, it was dark, just past 11 p.m. The crowd had shrunk, but some teachers and students stayed to watch, holding lanterns, so that the two could see the board. The place was very cold, as many of the students thought that the two players had frozen over, because they had barely moved an inch. For the last hour or so, they had not eaten since breakfast or slept since 6 a.m., 5 a.m. in Naruto's case, that morning. Only 2 more moves were executed, as it was now midnight. Everyone went off, leaving the lantern so the two could see until they went home. Well, that is what they thought. 6 hours later, deadlock, with few pieces left on each side. The both of them had played through the hour, both of them suffering from exhaustion, hunger, stress, as they continued to play their game. At 6 a.m., students who left came back to see the two of them still playing, the lanterns beside them. The crowd from before gathered, only to see that the game before is nearly over. As the students went inside the class, when lunchtime came, they came back out, and the two of them were still sitting there. As Shikamaru was frustrated, as he considered his next move, that would be the fate of the game. As he moved a hand, but he stopped. As he went into his thinking pose, for the 40th time since beginning, 5 minutes later he opened his eyes, as he moved a piece forward. As Naruto realized that he was trapped, hunger and exhaustion washing over him, but he could not stop. As he had to see this through, as he moved a rather risky move. But he was not so lucky. Shikamaru saw the bait, and Naruto's risky move, so he didn't fall for it. As Shikamaru moved and won, the moment he did, the both of them collapsed unconscious, as the both of them woke up in their respective homes, not knowing what the other was doing as they went to watch the clouds. It was the most epic game of shogi ever to exist. In the flashback, as Naruto walked towards the shower, that was not the only interesting encounter where he first met someone. There was also Hinata. Flashback. As Naruto was exhausted, as he was on the academy training ground after throwing shurikens, he had to get it down perfectly. After 100 clones of non-stop practicing, he was able to get the accuracy down, but he was still when he was throwing it. He had to learn how to move on his feet while throwing them perfectly. As he finally made his way towards the boys, well, he thought the boys' locker room, as he was glistening with sweat, as he removed his clothes, as he flipped on the water, as the dirt started to wash off his body. 5 minutes later, unbeknownst to him, a young hairy girl entered the locker room, not noticing the clothing on the floor and the bench that was clearly men. She too was covered in sweat and grime. She has been working hard on her Jayugen in one of the indoor training grounds of the academy. As she stripped and skipped over towards one of the unoccupied shower, the young blonde who failed to notice that she was here started to sing out loud. Hinata knew that voice. The moment she recognized who it was, her face turned red like she was about to pop. He was her crush, ever since he came the first day at the academy. His blonde, silky hair, his beautiful smile. The guy who never seemed to give up, no matter what. He was right next to her, showering. As she went quiet, so that he couldn't see her or hear her. As he kept on singing out loud. The more he sang, the more happier she became. Throughout the academy, not once, as he ignored her, said anything back to her, or used a jutsu on her. In fact, every day he greeted them properly, and he always seemed to smile at her as well. Unlike her upbringing, he was just so different, kind. As she remembered that day when she had sparred with another girl of the class, and he turned towards her and told her, "Good job." As she heard him stop singing, Hinata didn't know what it was. Probably an impulse, movement or something. But something just happened, and she couldn't stop herself. As Naruto was stepping out, someone rushed out and hugged him. As Naruto blinked, he's been hearing rumors that Hinata Hyuga has a crush on him. And to his surprise, it was her. And the fact that she wasn't wearing anything at all. As Hinata looked up to see him also blushing. And once again she wasn't so sure what the hell happened. Impulse, or what it was. She gave him a quick peck. As she grabbed her towel and dried herself off and grabbed her clothing. She got dressed silently and ran away. As Naruto did not leave the shower, he just stood there, frozen in place. He was stuck there for quite a long while, not doing anything, just frozen. His mind going over the scenario that just happened. That she was naked and she just came in here to kiss him. His mind, unable to come up with any possible reason that this wasn't a dream. As Naruto was used to logics and all that, but this made no sense. He had to reach up and slap himself in the face. As he realized that it wasn't a dream, it just hurt. And that meant she has been there the entire time, hearing him sing. And that just made him more, well, embarrassed. Not to mention he felt really strange when she hugged him and kissed him. As Naruto went home that day and spoke to the old man. But he simply told him he would tell him when he was older. As Naruto didn't know what was so funny, the old man was trying really hard not to laugh. He would just try his best to react in the proper fashion if it happens again. In the flashback, needless to say, she never spoke of that ever again. And Naruto was still, to this day, wondering if that was some kind of mirage or some kind of clone of her that came in there that day. Even though she started to get a bit bolder, yes, she spoke to him a lot often now, but she never brought up that incident. And he didn't know how to do it either because he believed that it was some kind of, well, mirage. But still, whenever he was training and he removed his shirt, she always seemed to pass out, making him wonder if it was really some kind of mirage or if it was real. But that wasn't all that he did in the past 2 years. As Naruto realized that his clones could not help him with the physical side of his training, so he was kind of lacking that part. And he didn't have much time, considering his duties now. But he still got his work in whenever, as the old man let him use the dojo whenever he wanted, whenever he was not doing something, well, out of the way. Not to mention he created 200 clones a day, as he sent them off into different directions, as the old man alone could study all the scrolls, as he learned at least one jutsu every week or so. He had a large arsenal of C and D rank jutsus, and phone jutsus that were only theorized by the fourth Hokage and Jiraiya the Sannin. He learned how to create explosive notes stored seals, the beginnings of human sealing, a forbidden art that developed in the sealing of the bijus. As the seals grew to greater levels, the human seals seemed rather morbid to him, but he brushed away those thoughts when he noticed how useful those seals can become. As Naruto came downstairs and something was wrong, usually, Gigi would be right down here, sipping his coffee, but today there was no one. Maybe he just left early. As Naruto was leaving out, he regretfully remembered what happened last week. Flashback, a week ago. Oh hey Alira, how's it going? Ever since he first arrived, she always greeted him with a pleasant smile and some conversation before he headed off to meet up with Haruka. It's going pretty well. I'm off for Jonin exam soon. I'll be gone next week. Just think, I could be a Jonin. In a few years, I may even get my own team. She was really excited about that. To those who knew her, she always wanted children. But sadly, due to an incident on a mission, she couldn't have children. Despite her being twice Naruto's age, he kind of think of her as an older sister. Don't worry, big sister Elira. You're gonna be a Jonin. Believe it, he said. You can count on it, she said. Now be good while I'm gone. And be nice to the receptionist, okay? Don't want to worry about angry co-workers. Beat them like a bro while I'm gone. Got that? Yes, big sis, said Naruto. Gotta go now. Time to help teach the brats. You're a brat too, she said, with a chuckle. In the flashback. As Naruto arrived at the academy, he noticed most of the lights were off. As he came towards the front desk as he saw the new receptionist, a cute woman, about 22 years old. As she looked rather morbid, as she stared at him. What's going on? Said Naruto as he looked around. There was a disturbance last night. By the Uchiha district, apparently. There was only one left alive. The rest was killed by Itachi Uchiha. The Hokage asked me to send you home when you arrive. Don't worry. There will likely be no class until this issue is sorted out. As Naruto froze at that, wondering if he was hearing correctly. Itachi? Itachi killed his entire clan? How could that be? He still had his manners as he looked up. Thank you, he said to the woman as he moved off. As the young prodigy walked out, trying to find out what he could. This made no sense. It made no sense. He didn't care much for Sasuke because of his attitude. But this wasn't supposed to happen to any child. And it made him feel sympathy for the boy. As Naruto slowly walked home, that night Sarutobi came and explained what happened to Naruto. And that Sasuke had suffered a rather traumatic experience. Apparently his brother used a genjutsu on him to make him live through the entire massacre. Sasuke would not be in the class until he was deemed mentally efficient to continue. Also, he was refusing to accept hospitality. He was placed in a mental facility by force, just to keep him safe and capable. As Naruto was just shocked and taken aback by all of this. Classes didn't restart until a month later. Sasuke was no longer out for any normal power. He was now out for power to help him get revenge for what happened to his clan. As Naruto made a promise that night, once he became Hokage he will help Sasuke. Something like this will never happen again. He swore on it. Time skip. As Naruto got out of bed as he shut off the alarm. As he yawned and stretched. Today was the final day that he will end his services as a great teacher Naruto, who even gave teacher advices on lectures that they were having problem with. The blonde who would encourage his students to be better, keep them at attention. He even got the fangirls to focus as well. 4 years has passed since the Uchiha massacre. Sasuke was released after a month. He didn't have to attend any makeup courses. All returned to normal, except for his fangirls who didn't want to just be with him anymore. They wanted to be his children to help him revive his clan. But Sasuke had labeled himself as an avenger, as the rumor was that he planned to gain the power that he needed to kill Itachi himself. As soon as Sasuke came back, Naruto realized that Sasuke didn't care much for rebuilding his clan. The only thing he cared about was revenge, showing his clear dislike of the girls. As Naruto wondered if the event had changed him to like guys if he was now gay. As Naruto did not know, but a lot has happened over the past 4 years. He had learned every single D and C rank jutsu in the library. He also learned several B and A rank jutsus. The only reason why he didn't know more was because he devoted much of his time to Fuin Jutsu. His skills had reached a point where he could modify tags to form different kinds of explosions. The quantity of the explosion increased the power or the direction where the explosive go, as he could make a modified explosive tag in 20 seconds without fault. He also discovered the art of chain tagging. This was where one tag could release more seals, and release more seals, and everything would go off in a chain explosion. But explosive seals wasn't the kind that he had discovered so far. He had weighted and gravity seals to help his taijutsu. Another one was stamina seals. That was a rather hefty discovery. The theory of the stamina seal was that by draining life force, the user could quadruple their chakra supply, so making clones with a small amount of life force in them. With a stamina seal, it could stay for the entire day and take hits. It wouldn't just dispel like a normal clone. As Naruto learned this when he was 9 years old, so he replaced himself with clone in the academy and skipped out to practice his taijutsu. With this training since he was 9, Naruto could rival most Jonins with his speed and strength, well except for my guy. That man was a beast. Not to mention he finally mastered his style, which he called Dance of a Nine-Tailed Fox. With his ninjutsu, genjutsu, taijutsu, fuinjutsu, everything increasing, he got a wonderful recommendation from Haruka, as today will be the day that he get promoted. On his way to the academy, for the last time it seems, well, as a teacher, as Naruto remember what happened a few months just after the massacre. Flashback. Hey Brett. As Naruto turned, Big sis, you're back, he said. As Naruto turned to see his self-proclaimed big sister looking down at him. And guess what? As Naruto leaped up to her, as he pulled her into a big hug before she could even say anything. She patted him on the head, as she then pulled back a bit as she saw his tears. Naruto, what's wrong? She said. This means you won't be around hang out with me anymore, said Naruto, as he turned. But her arms wrapped around him and pulled him into a hug once again, as Naruto missed having her around, and know that she became a Jonin, he wouldn't see her anymore. Silly little bro. I'll see you less, but I promise I'll see you on my days off. After all, it's not like I'm gonna forget about my little bro. As he smiled at that, and I'll treat you to some ramen. As Naruto heard that, is today your day off? He asked, as she saw the smile on his face. Come on, let's go. In the flashback, she was now going to be a Jonin sensei. Maybe when she started doing secret missions, he could join in. Maybe he could spend some more time with Hinata as well. He paused. Hinata? Where did the Heim come from? As he didn't really notice until now, he has been spending a lot more time with Hinata. They never once mentioned what happened in the shower, which Naruto was sure was real now. But the both of them decided not to talk about it like it was some sort of dream that the both of them had. As Naruto arrived at the academy and strode to the room where he has been going for the past 6 years, there were 30 people in the room, the ones that had graduated and were going to be assigned their team today. As he made his way up towards the desk where Hinata was, after half an hour idle chit-chat, Haruka finally entered the room, as Haruka congratulated them once again. As he started from Team 1, until he arrived to Team 7, when Sasuke Uchiha name was called. Time seemed to drag on forever. Every single girl in the class that hasn't been called except for Hinata, it seems, took a breath. Sakura Haruno. Sakura jumped out of her seat as she cheered, as Haruka told her to sit down. She had a big victory smile on her face, and their last teammate will be a boy called Sai. Everyone turned to look at him, but he was once again just looking at the wall with a rather blank look. Your Jonin sensei will be Kakashi Hatake. Team 8 will be Hinata Hyuga, Shino Ibarami, and Kiba Inazaka. Your Jonin sensei will be Alira Karen. As Naruto was surprised at that. Alira? The both of them would be on one team, with her being the Jonin sensei. He could see Hinata and Alira at the same time. All those years of teaching, he finally got something good out of it. Team 10 will be Shikamaru Nara, Choji Akimichi, and Ino Yamanaka. As Ino slipped from her chair and collapsed onto the floor, in a defeated way, she has been placed at a lazy butt and a fat guy, while her rival Sakura was on team with Sasuke. Your Jonin sensei will be Sarutobi Asuma. At the mention of that name, everyone turned to Naruto, after explaining their relation, as everyone turned back. Alira arrived a few minutes later as she picked up her team, as Naruto made his way to see the Hokage. With Alira, she and Team 8 was in an empty classroom, sitting down to talk. Well, if we're going to be a team, we have to know about each other. I'll start. My name is Alira. Karen, she said. And I'm a Jonin of Konoha. I like ramen, kids, learning more kinjutsu. I dislike egotistical people and perverts. My hobbies are listening to music, reading, and hanging out with my friends, particularly Naruto. My dream for the future is to adopt a kid, and become a wonderful mom, and be on par with one of the myths, legendary ninja swordsmen. Okay, as she looked towards Kiba, you go. My name is Kiba Inazaka. I like reading manga, playing Akamaru, and as Kiba blushed, as he looked at Alira, as she was wearing a tight blue Jonin outfit, the green vest, as his eyes went down towards her legs before coming up. He was smacked over the head. Hey, what's that for? I said I don't like perverts. So keep your eyes off, I'm not a show. As Kiba growled, I dislike stuck-up girls like you. Bam! He was punched over the head once again. This time he spoke with a more respectful tone, out of fear for his poor head. I don't like people who make fun of others, and those who insult my clan for their practices. My hobbies are playing Gakamaru, hanging out with friends, and learning new jutsus. My dream for the future is to become the head of my clan, and also help Naruto become Hokage so that I can help him reform the clan system. So, he has heard about Naruto's dream, huh? Alira thought to herself. Alright, you in the coat, go, she said. My name is Shino Aberami. I like bugs. I dislike people who kill bugs. My hobbies are learning my clan bug techniques. My dream for the future is to become the head of my clan and learn new bug techniques. Alira didn't really like bugs, but she heard that Shino was supposed to be pretty good, so at least he won't be problematic. Hinata was the last one. She spoke up. Her confidence has been different since a few years ago. My name is Hinata Hyuga. I like Naruto-kun, practicing my taijutsu, and visiting with friends. I dislike arrogant people in my clan because of the way that separated me from my cousin. My hobbies are practicing the Jayuken and reading. My dream for the future is fixing the Hyuga clan and helping Naruto so he can... As her face turned red, as she turned her head away, as Alira sighed, she decided to get this over with. Okay, now that we know each other, I suggest you go home and train. And make sure you get a good night rest tomorrow. Meet me at training room 14 for your Genin test. Wait, I thought we already did that. We have the forehead protector, said Kiba, as he said it rather loudly. You don't have to yell. She's right here, said Shino. Before Kiba could say anything to Shino, Alira cut in. No, you passed the academy exam. That was to make sure that you were ready for Genin exam. This test is to see if you're good enough to become Genins. I must warn you though, this test has a 66 rate of failure. Only 9 will pass Genin tests, meaning that the rest of you will be sent back to the academy. Meet me at training ground, 9 AM sharp. And I suggest that you don't eat. You might just throw it up all anyway. As she winked, as she shunshed away. Team 8 looked towards each other as they said their goodbyes and split up. As they went off to eat or train or, in Hinata's case, find Naruto. Meanwhile, with Naruto, as Naruto was starting to lose his patience, as he was in here for a long time now. Come on, you said I'll get it today. Come on. Alright, Naruto. Just let me finish these. As Hiruzen stamped a few papers and put them to the side, as he turned towards Naruto who was smiling. As he removed the vest from his desk and tossed it as Naruto caught it, he didn't even wait as he shoved his hand through it and put it on, his teeth glistening in the sunlight. Now Naruto, you do lack experience. I know that you've trained hard for these past 8 years, and that you could probably pass the Jonin test with your skills, and that you're a truly good shinobi, but you need field experience. You need to learn how to work with a team. Therefore, for the next 6 months, you will be working one of this year's team. Tomorrow night, I'll be telling you what team you can join of the 3 that pass. Then you can choose from them which one you like to join. If Alira teams passes, I'm with them. No question about that, said Naruto. And they would pass, after all. I taught them, didn't I? As Hiruzen had to mask his laughter at that. Yes, Naruto had taught them some, but they had not learned from him entirely. You know, you were just an aide. A rather exceptional aide, but I think they also learned from Iruka as well. That's another thing you can work on, being humble. Get too cocky and you will lose every battle. Now since I don't have anything else for you, you get today and tomorrow off. Now I go and train you, Brat Hiruzen said, in a playful manner. Alright, JJ, said Naruto, I'm off. As he sunshined away. As Hiruzen blinked, he had never seen Naruto use the sunshine before. As Naruto left the tower, he ran right into Hinata, as he was surprised as she come, considering their chit-chat earlier. Flashback to earlier. I was wondering, would you come meet up with me at the Hokage tower today? I mean after you finish with your team and all, said Naruto, in a rather low tone. Hinata was flustered. She never heard him stutter before. The fact that he was blushing even lightly just confused her even more. Yeah, sure, she said, as Naruto smiled and moved. But he slipped on something. It seems that the world was just literally against him as he fell, right on her. As he gripped onto anything to stop his fall, he gripped onto something soft and squishy. As he looked up, he saw her face incredibly red, confused. Was she sick or something? He didn't realize where his hand was. On her chest. He snapped his hand back and turned his head. as his eyes glued literally down to the floor. It was at that moment Aruka walked in, as Hinata looked towards Naruto's back. It was like he timed it so she couldn't say anything, as she had a blush on her face. In the flashback, Naruto-kun, you wanted to speak to me? Oh yeah, follow me, he said, as they walked for a good 5 minutes until they reached a secluded area of the park, near the Hokage's tower. He hadn't spoken a word as he took her hand. She didn't say anything as he led her. As they reached a rather large tree, as he leaned his back against it, she doing the same as well. Hinata-chan, I was wondering, would you go on a date with me tonight, he said. That swung her for a loop, as she didn't expect him to say that. She has been dreaming of this moment for many days now, but now that he was here, she froze up. So she just nodded her head, because her mouth would not say anything. Really? Said Naruto. As Naruto watched as she reached up, as she slapped herself with her hands, hitting both cheek. As he blinked at that, yes, I would love to, she said. Great. I'll come by to pick you up at 5, as he hugged her, rather quickly making her squeal a bit. As he ran off, she collapsed on the ground, smoke coming from her ears, as she simply picked herself up and went home. She went home walking past her father and everyone, as she closed her door. As everyone heard a scream of yes in the Hyuga household. Time skip. Hinata was running around hectic in her room. Her father had pushed her to train as soon as she came home, and now she only had a half an hour to prepare for the date. As she was looking at herself in the mirror, as she was just wrapped in a pink towel. She was by no means ugly. She wanted to look her best. This was Naruto, the person she looked up to, the one that she wanted to be with the most. As she went through her wardrobe, there wasn't much festival clothes she had. After all, in the eyes of her father she was weak, so she did not attend that much with him. She mostly had her ninja clothing. Her father Hayashi was already considering making Hanami the heiress, her younger sister. But it wasn't that she was weak, it was just her father and the whole clan. Their pressure and their looks, it always pushed her so much that she cowered down a certain time and she didn't want to hurt her sister. But she found something. It was a black dress. But they were a few years old, and it was really short, so she got some pair of jeans and put them on. She figured that Naruto would take her out for some ramen. Even though it wouldn't be too fancy, any dinner with him was still gonna be wonderful. As she started to search through something, she then found it. Lipstick. She wanted to look her best. As she wondered about all those years ago, she didn't know what caused her to just react like that. She knew that he knew, but neither of them said anything about it. As her mind could not bring it up, she was always, well, on the verge of fainting every time she thought about it. Even right now as she held on to the wall. She hoped there would be a repeat though. She hoped there would be a repeat of what happened all those years ago. Meanwhile, with Naruto, having planned ahead, and hoping that she would say yes, he had bought some new clothing, considering that most of his clothing was what he used for training, and they had rips and torn in them. As he got dressed, as he noticed the time was 4:45, as he calmed his nerves and made his way, as he arrived towards the Hyuga compound. Good evening, he said. I'm here to pick up Hinata Hyuga for a meeting of sorts. May I go see her? The guard activated their guns before nodded, as Naruto made his way and went to knock, as he called out her name. The door was pushed open by, no, this couldn't be her. As Naruto saw a woman came out, she was the same height as Hinata, and she looked the same, but she was wearing a black dress with jeans that hugged her body. Her hair looked so incredibly soft, and the blush in her cheeks and her lipstick, it fit her frame so perfectly. Hinata on the other hand looked him over, as Naruto's hair was not cut, as it went down into his back, spiky and golden, just looking like a long mane. He was wearing a black muscle shirt, with a white formal shirt over it, with black pants that fit him so perfectly, black sneakers with orange lines curving around the edges. Hinata, you look beautiful, he said. Thank you, Naruto-kun. You look handsome as well, she said. He held out his hand. Come on, let's go, he said. We don't want to be late for the movie. She took his hand as the both of them moved off, engaging in small talk, and about her new sensei, who was his friend. Well, like a sister to him. 2 hours later, as they enjoy the movie well. Their hands keep on touching, as they just hold hands the entire time. Once they were out of there, as Naruto was leading her, as he arrived toward the Ichiraku ramen stand, I figured that you weren't full from the popcorn or soda, so I thought we could. I would love to have some ramen, Naruto, she said, as he smiled at that. As the both of them arrived towards the stand, Ayam and Toki were there. They were the only ones there. A large miso ramen for me, said Naruto. A large shrimp for me, said Hinata. Though Hinata had been there before with him, that was in the daytime, and they weren't dressed in such nice clothing. A smile was on Ayam's face. It will only be a few moments. We wouldn't want to keep our favorite customer, or his cute little girlfriend waiting. Hinata face turned red at the girlfriend comment. Ayam-chan, said Naruto. It's just our first date. Give me a break. Ayam simply smiled. The two just looked so cute together as she made her way. Hinata looked towards Naruto as she started to fumble with her hands. Naruto-kun? Yeah? As she reached out and kissed him on the cheek. As Naruto froze up at that. Am I your girlfriend now, she said. Once again that impulsiveness just kicked in. As Naruto remembered what happened in the shower that day all those years ago. Before he could say anything, Ayam reached over and placed down their ramen in front of them. Thank you for the food, they said. Unlike Naruto, he was eating actually normal, which was strange, as Ayam noticed that. Well, he was on a date, as he was eating calmly instead of just scarfing it down because you'll be finished already. On to the next bowl. Hinata also appreciated that he had the ability to eat normal, even though sometimes it seems beyond him. As they finished, they said goodbye as he started to take her home. She was getting a bit nervous because he hadn't said anything after what she had asked. They reached close to the compound, as Naruto grabbed her hand, stopping her. As she saw that he was not saying anything, he was about to speak but she beat into it. Naruto, are you, okay with being my boyfriend, she asked. As Naruto leaned forward without saying anything, she braced herself as she felt his lips connect to hers. It was short, brief, and amazing, as he broke apart. Does that answer your question, he asked. She nodded, as she reached forward and hugged him. As she ran off, she didn't stop, as she ran back and kissed him on the cheek. As she then ran off, Hinata went inside as she squealed in her pillow, as she lied there in her bed. Time skip the next morning, as Hinata woke up after having a pleasant dream. Well, it was a bit unpleasant at the same time, as she made her way. When she arrived at 8:55, the both of them were already there. Now they were just waiting for their sensei. The moment the clock struck 9, Alira appeared in training field. As she was there, glad you all here, she said. I figure I'll just get right into it. Here, I have 2 bells. As she pulled at the timer, when this timer reaches noon, it will go off. That is how long you have to get these bells away from me. The person that doesn't get a bell will be tied to a tree while watching your teammate eat. And worst of all, they will be sent back to the academy, she said. Wait, what? Kiba shouted. Hated the prospect of going back to the academy. Yes, one of you is guaranteed to fail. Now, go. As she vanished, she is running to Kiba as he chased after her scent. Hinata turned to talk to Shino, but he was gone. She activated her Byakugan and she saw Kiba as she followed his trail with Alira. Well, that was pretty easy. With a team for tracking, she had to make it a bit harder for them to find her. So with that, she appeared on the street as she transformed into a civilian and mixed with the crowd in, disguising her scent in it. As Kiba arrived at the spot at the market, but everything was so jumbled and smelled, they were all mixed up. Damn it, he needed help. As Hinata made her way as she saw Kiba stop moving. Perhaps he was waiting up for her. She didn't know why, given that this test seemed to be a competition. Kiba-san, she said, I thought you were following her. I was, but she kind of got away, and I can't pick out her scent. There are too many around, he said. Kiba-san, if you would help me, we can both get a bell. I mean, we're teammates, aren't we, she said, as he looked at her with surprise. Well, I suppose, as long as he get a bell. He nodded as Hinata activate her Byakugan as he moved. Time skip. With Alira, it has been an hour and no one has gotten close. What kind of tracker team is that? She just mingled with the crowd. She didn't even blend her scent, so, well, she supposed that he was just, Inazaka in training. It's not like he was one of the experts who can pick out smell from others when there was so much around. But the Hyuga has passed over her twice now, and she's supposed to be a tracker with those eyes. The girl didn't check every area thoroughly with her Byakugan though. That was a problem, as she was getting a bit worried because she didn't see the other one. She had found absolutely no trace of him. On the other hand, she knows watching his sensei. The moment she had entered the field, he had placed a bug on her. This was supposed to be a tracking team judging from their special abilities, so their sensei had to be good at evading, but he counted on that. But without knowing her abilities, how easy it would be to get a bell, he wondered to himself. He decided to wait and see his teammates engage her. Perhaps then he will know what she can do. With Kiba and Hinata, Kiba-san had found her. She's a few 100 feet to her left, standing by that fruit stand. She's eating an apple. Can you see her? You mean the woman in a red dress? As Hinata nodded, as Kiba blinked at the form that she took, as a perverted smile came on his face. Ideas running through his head at the tight red dress. He felt something press up against his throat. I told you, I'm not your eye candy. As she knocked him over the head, she turned towards Hinata. Let's see if you can find me again, she said, as she was gone. Which Shino? Serves him right for being so unobservant, said Shino to himself. A bug landed on his head and crawled down. It was a bug that he never saw before. It was like a dragonfly. It was that average size, with strange red stripes over it. Poof! As Alira transformed back into normal. Seems you need to be more observant as well. She was a bug. She grabbed his hand and opened his palm as she placed the bug that he placed on her, right in the center of his palm, and she vanished once again. She arrived right back at the training ground, as she just sat there, waiting. Now it was time to see how good they were with their fighting style. Their tracking wasn't that bad after all, as she just waited there. Shino was the first one to show up. You think quickly on your feet, she said, but it's gonna take more than that to get the bells from me. Shino merely nodded as he charged, as he threw kunais towards her. She dodged, first lesson taijutsu, with speeds that he could not follow. He was tripped. She then spun on her heel as she kicked him away. With surprise and agility that she never expected, he flipped as he landed on his feet. As he grimaced a bit at the pain, he went through hands as a clone appeared next to him. Both him and the clone came towards her as she dodged and ducked. She then lashed out with 2 punches as both of them burst into bugs. She grabbed her blade and swinged it. A burst of green energy ripped through several bushes as Shino leaped out, as she flashed behind him in mid-air and chopped him in the back of the neck as she caught him and gently placed him down to the ground. After a moment or two, Kiba and Hinata arrived as they saw Alira stand on top of Shino, who had a sword right in his back. He was dead. Hinata noticed something off as she activated her Byakugan as she saw through the Genjutsu. She grabbed Kiba before he could say anything, as she sent a pulse through his body, as he broke through it as well. So they're working as a team. Well, it's a start. Are you gonna stand there gawking at me like idiots? Or are you gonna try and get the bells from me, she said. Kiba took the bait as he charged. She went through hand sign. Second lesson, Genjutsu. Hell. Kiba was placed in hell. Nothing but cats, white, blue, pink, orange, purple, all cats all over, and could not escape. Kiba froze in place. Hinata saw him as he released a blood-curdling scream. He then collapsed unconscious. Third lesson, ninjutsu. As she flashed through hand sign, wind style, pulverizing, shield technique, 2 large shields made of wind chakra on her hands as she moved forward right towards Hinata. Hinata activated her Byakugan and she didn't see any of her sensei's points. Apparently, whatever technique she was using had enough chakra to block her points completely. As Alira leaped in the air and spun, the shields around her turning like a drill as she came down. Hinata jumped as Alira digged through the ground and burst out on the opposite end. As Hinata remembered something Naruto taught her, as she went through hand sign, fire style, fireball jutsu, as she fired the fireball. It didn't matter that it was small, because of the wind that was gathering around Alira. It made the fireball combust and enlarge. Alira broke right through the fire, a bit singed. Luckily she got away without anything too dangerous. As she hit Hinata right in the stomach, Hinata collapsed unconscious. 2 hours later, as if on cue, Team 8 woke up, as one of them was tied to a log. Shino and Hinata stood up to see Alira in front of them holding 2 box lunches. Kiba was tied down. I'll give you one more shot at this. You two may eat afterwards, you three. Will come at me again and try to get the bells. Under no circumstances are you allowed to feed Kiba, because he got nowhere close at all. Do you understand? She said. They all nodded. She then flashed away. The two of them sat there as Hinata heard a grumble. It was Kiba's stomach. She looked down towards her food. She was about to offer him some, but she knew. Offer him first. No, you can't. You guys get caught with Kiba. We can't risk it. It's illogical to refuse. I don't censor, and you're useless to us if you refuse. As Kiba looked around before opening his mouth, Ashino picked up the sushi with his chopstick. Before he could feed him though, a wave of killing intent washed over the field. I said you couldn't feed him. What kind of team are you disobeying orders? As she released quite a dose of killing intent that made Kiba wet his pants where he was. Shino on the other hand spoke. If we are to be a team, we have to help each other, he said, despite the consequences. She turned towards Kiba and Hinata. Do you agree with this? She asked. Seeing that Shino had stuck up for him, Kiba nodded weakly, as Hinata nodded back. Okay, you pass, she said. As all of them sweat drop at that. As they were confused. There's a monument here in Konoha. A few friends of mine names are on that monument. All of them gave their life for what they believe in, sacrificing themselves for their teammates, and making sure that the Wheel of Fire lives on. Because that is what Konoha is all about, helping each other, and helping each other grow, respecting each other. With your team there to back you up, you will always have someone no matter what. Another Jonin once told me, on a mission, those that broke the rules are scum. But someone who abandoned their teammates are worse than scum. Remember that always, she said. Now go home, she said, and get some rest. Because we officially begin as Team 8 tomorrow. You can get yourself down, Kiba. I'm not going anywhere near you. You wet your pants. As Hinata turned. As she burst out laughing, she couldn't take it. As Shino started to chuckle as well. As Kiba was bright red looking down. He didn't even notice. Fortunately, Akamaru was there as he bit through the ropes. Kiba had found a nearby lake, as he'd rather be drenched than smell of pee going home. His mother and sister would never let him hear the end of it. But guys, if you end subscribe right here, if you want to see more, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications to stay posted. But more for now, see you guys soon. Peace.